y'all, it's Debbie with Taylor by Debbie, and today I'm going to show you how to make these adorable raccoon gnomes. Alright, you're going to need some pool noodle, and you just need to cut them into approximately 4-inch lengths. And you're going to need some faux leather, some hot glue, some fur in different colors. I got this at Joann Fabrics. It's kind of got a white and gray and black going through it. And then some solid white and solid black faux fur. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. Okay. Gonna need some felt for the ears. I used half wood rounds that I bought from Amazon. If you go to my Amazon store, there's a link under crafting supplies for these exact ones that I bought. We're going to paint these black for the nose. And then you're going to need some just solid black button that look like the eyes on stuffed animals. That's what I used for the eyes. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. First, we're going to take some of that faux leather. And what I did was I took my pool noodle, stood it up like this, took just a white chalk marker. You can use any kind of marker that'll show up. And I traced around the pool noodle, leaving probably just under a ½ an inch around the edges. Okay, and then we cut those out. And then what I did was I took and made some slits about the same width around it as, the overflow, so that we can take these and fold them up and then hot glue it to the bottom. And that gives you just take it, those individual little things, and hot glue. First I hot glued around the edge here, and then I took and individually folded those up and hot glued them on around. And that gives us a nice waterproof bottom for our gnome. Okay, so once that's done, we need to cut our fur for the body. And you'll want to do the fur from the top to the bottom. You want the fur to be going down. You want to cut it from the back side, and you want to use an X-Acto knife. And what we'll do first is we want to leave about 1 inch to 1.5 inches. So you're going to come down and leave that part at the top. And then you're going to take your X-Acto knife, and then you're just going to cut straight across to give you, since I'm making multiple, I'm just going to go ahead and go beyond what I know I need. She wanted a total of 4, and this is my second one that I'm making, and I figured I would do a video to show y'all how I do it, because they're so easy to make, guys. Okay, just gonna cut the backing, and when you do that, you see how it leaves all this nice long fur? That's what we want, okay? All these nice long pieces of fur. Now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put our little pool noodle down, and we're gonna roll it and measure it by rolling this over and determining, we don't want it to overlap, but we do want it to touch. So just take this fur and kind of push it over that way, and then roll it on over, and then mark it where you need it, and then just cut straight up. And it has little lines on the fur, so you can follow kind of in a straight line. Just go right up the fur, cutting through just the backing with your X-Acto knife. Okay. And you can buy these X-Acto knives. Dollar Tree has a version. I don't think they call it X-Acto knife, but it looks very similar to this. So they're not expensive. You can get one at Dollar Tree for $1.25. Okay, we're going to move this fur out of the way. Okay, now remember, the bottom of your gnome, you want the fur going down. So what I usually do after I cut it is I go along each edge and just pull off any excess fur that's real easy to pull off. And we cut that bottom, so we want to do the same thing with that. And y'all, don't worry if there's a crease in your fur like that, because you can just take a hair dryer and blow dry that and comb it with a comb, and that crease will come right out. So let's go ahead and do that now. There, y'all kind of get the idea. See how it took the crease out of the fur? So don't, and I need to blow dry it just a little bit more because there's still a crease there. But it took the majority of the crease right out. And it will if you just blow dry it a little bit more. And I'll do that after I finish making the gnome. All right, guys. So what we're going to do next is we're going to turn it over. Make sure I got all that loose fur off. Everywhere around that piece of fur. Faux fur. It's not real fur, y'all. No animals were harmed in the making of this video. Okay, so what we're going to do next is we're going to put, I'm going to make sure, first of all, that it is the width I need. And it is. Okay, we're going to put that on the lower edge of that fur right there. Okay, we're going to go ahead and put the glue as high up as the pool noodle is first along this edge. And then you're going to take your pool noodle and just roll it over to that hot glue. Okay. Now you're going to roll it back this way. Looks like I need to go down just a little bit. You want that to be down at the very bottom edge. So just scoot it down while your glue is still wet. And then we're going to start gluing across this bottom part. You don't need a lot of glue. I don't glue all over the pool noodle. Just glue along the edges. Okay. So I'm going to put some glue, and then I'm just going to take this and I'm going to roll it all the way over, y'all. And then just roll it. Pressing down here. Okay. And then you want to push this fur over to the side, and you can use a comb and comb it over. Just comb all that fur over. Okay, and then you're going to put some glue down there. Once you get this glued down, you're not really even going to be able to tell where this seam is unless you feel it. And again, only go up about as high as the top of the pool noodle, and then just roll it. Pull this hair over, pull this fur over, and then just roll it. Okay? And then once you do that and put your fur together, you can't even really tell where the seam is, y'all. See? It just looks seamless all the way around your gnome. Next, we're going to put some glue just on the inside in small sections at a time around the very top. And I would suggest you put on a finger protector so you don't burn yourself. And then just push that fur down into the top of that pool noodle and hold it just a minute while it dries. Okay, then you can continue on. It's not completely dry, but to where it doesn't pull up when you take your finger out. Okay, just push it down in there, and then take that last little section. Get all that fur out of the way. Put a little glue on there. You want to kind of move the fur a little bit so you don't get glue on it when you're going down with this, and just go down inside the top of that pool noodle. Okay, just like that. And y'all, the top part of your little raccoon gnome is done, and we've completely covered our pool noodle. His whole body is done, and see how easy that is, y'all. Next, we're going to make the ears for this little guy. So I'm going to take my piece of felt, and you can see where I made my other two ears, And all I did, y'all, was just make like a rounded triangle shape. So I'm going to take my marker and I'm just going to mark on one of these, and you'll see why in just a minute. And I want to make it a little bit bigger than what I actually need, so I can cut on the inside of the marker. Okay, so I'm going to do that. All right, now we're going to take this piece of felt and we're going to fold it over and cut that out so that the two ears will be the same size. Now we're going to use some of this fur to put inside these little ears. And you're just going to cut out a little square. It's probably 1 centimeter in diameter, just a little square of fabric, and you're cutting it on the back side, the faux fur fabric, like so. Okay, and we're going to do one more, one for each ear. Just be careful y'all don't cut your finger, because this little X-Acto knife is very sharp. All right, we got our 2 little squares. Anytime you cut fur, the faux fur, you want to pull any loose fur off first. Just gently pull and go around. Okay, now we're going to give this a haircut because we don't want the fur to go up higher than the top of the ear. Put it in the center, kind of determine where the top of your ear is, and then just cut it kind of in a triangle shape, kind of the shape of the ear, like so. Just a little bit shorter than the top of your ear, okay? So that's what we're going to do. We're going to do the same thing on this other one. Then once you have that done, you're going to lay it down and just kind of look at them. I think I need to cut this one just a little bit shorter so it'll more evenly match that one. So just cut off a little bit at a time. There we go. And I think those look good. So all we're going to do is put glue where the faux fur fabric is on the back. You don't want to put the glue on the actual fur itself. So just put glue where that square part is. And then you want to take your triangle ear and put this in the center and line it up at the bottom, just like so. Okay, do the same thing with this one. Just put glue where the square faux fabric is on the back, fabric backing. Kind of center it on your ear and then press it down. Okay, then the last part of making the ears, you're going to take each corner and fold it over and then press it down like that, and that's going to make a little ear. Okay, so we're going to do that. Put my hot finger protector on. Just press that down. So cute, y'all. Okay, then we're going to do the same thing over here. Need to pull this down a little more onto my finger. Okay, then we're going to, that one's coming undone. So we're just going to go ahead and add a little more glue to both. And across that bottom part. And then we're going to fold them over to where they meet in the middle. And then we're going to press down and hold until it's good and dry. And y'all, that's all there is to making the ear. A little bit of glue seeped out the bottom, that's okay. You can just pull it off. And we're going to hold that down until it dries. If you have some little clips, you can put a clip on there. But it won't take that long, y'all, for it to set to where it won't pop back up. Okay, that one's done. Now we're going to do the same thing with this one. Then are going to take our little gnome. We need to feel around him to find where that seam is, and it's right there. So the seam, even though you can't really see it, I still like to put the seam in the back. So we're going to flip it over from where the seam is. Then I'm going to stand him up. That seam's going to be facing away from me. And I'm going to kind of dry fit my ears. Okay. And I like to place some more toward the front, not in the middle or toward the back. I like to place them kind of in the front. Okay. So what you're going to do, once you decide where you want it to go, you're going to take your comb and you're going to part the fur, kind of like you would your own hair. Just part it. And then you're going to take your X-Acto knife. You want to hold that apart where you parted it. And you want to feel where the edge, where it kind of waterfalls over the edge of the gnome. You want to cut half of the slit on the top and then the other half going down the gnome. And you want to, your goal is to try to cut your slit the same length that the bottom part of your ear is. And then you're just going to stick your ear down in that slit, like so. Okay, and then you're going to take some hot glue and squirt it down in front of it, like this. Just going to squirt some glue down in there. And then push it back. Make sure you got it pushed way down in there, in that little slit that you cut. Okay, then you want to come on to the back side of it and do the same thing. We got some excess fur on our tip here. We're just going to stick it down into the slit behind that little piece of felt. Squirt some glue, and then you just want to mash it down in there and let it dry. And y'all, there's one of our little ears. Isn't it so cute? So cute. Okay. We just want to kind of come straight across from where that is, and you want to part your fur over here on this side. But you just want to part that fur, and then take that X-Acto knife, hold the fur apart, double check you're in the right place, and we are. So you just want to take this, you want to feel where the edge of the pool noodle is, cut half of your slit on top, and then half of your slit kind of going down. Pull off the excess fur if there is any. Just make sure your slit is good, and sometimes it helps if you just take your finger and kind of put it in there and spread that apart. And then you're going to take your ear and dry fit it and look and make sure it's where you want it to be. Okay. See, that one's in there already. All right. We're going to push that fur out of the way. And this time I'm going to glue the back first. It doesn't really matter. Just want to hold your fur over. Squirt some hot glue down there right on the edge inside that slit. Turn it over. Do the same thing on the front. Make sure you've got your felt down in that slit. Right there, part of that felt was wanting to stick up, so I'm just pushing it back down into the slit, pulling this fur over, and we're going to squirt some glue down below, just below the level of where that slit is, and that's going to hold your ear to your gnome, and then we're going to let it dry. Look one more time, make sure it's where you want it to be. So cute, y'all. Look, he's got his little ears. All right, see how easy this is? Y'all can do this. Okay, next we're going to take and lay him down. And what we want to do is we want to cut out a circle out of this white. And we're going to use our pool noodle again as our guide. Okay, and we're going to cut it this time. Let's see, I believe I cut it just a little bit bigger. Yeah, we did. Cut it just a little bit bigger than your pool noodle again. So I'm going to get a different color marker this time. so I can see where I'm drawing, and I'll see if this one will draw here. You just want to draw around about the same way we did for that bottom piece. You want to do the same thing here with this white fur. Draw a circle, just a little bit around, and it doesn't have to be perfect, y'all. Okay, just draw that, and then you're going to take your X-Acto knife and cut that out, only cutting the backing of your faux fur. All right, guys, then you can take and cut any little scraggly edges off with your scissors and just try to cut through the backing. Okay, but there's the little brown piece that we're going to incorporate onto the front of our gnome to make this part. Okay, this is how you do different colors of fur on your gnomes. Okay, and there's the back. Here's the front. Okay, in order for us to be able to glue this down, we need to give this fur, where we're going to be gluing the white piece on, a little haircut. Okay, so I'm going to comb the fur up out of the way and just kind of dry fit. You want the fur going down. Just going to kind of dry fit, and we're going to pull all the fur up that we want to trim. Okay, just around, pull it up. Just continue to go around, and it's okay to leave a little bit of fur on the edges, but for the most part, you want to trim all of this as short as you can get it. So we're just going to pull that up in the center and just cut it off. Okay. Because if you glue it to this long fur, your fur is going to kind of float around. You want to get this fur as short as you possibly can, where you're going to be gluing that white piece down. Okay, so I'm just going to continue to cut that all the way down to the backing as much as I can. Okay, then I'm going to dry fit it again. And you want to be making the area about the size of your fur backing. And that looks very perfect right there, y'all. That's all we needed to do. All right, so the top part, I kind of want to cut a little bit flat across the top right there. So I'm just going to cut the backing with my scissors, only you just kind of turn the scissors at an angle and you can just cut through that backing. Just kind of make it straight across, pull off any excess fur. Let's get all this out of the way. Okay, and then we're going to glue that right here across the top, like so. Okay, so we're going to put the glue on the back. Get another glue stick. We're going to put the glue on the back of this faux fabric on the white part. And you want to put the glue pretty close to the edges, and you need to work fast so this does not dry or harden before you get it pushed down. Then we're going to put some in the middle as well. All right, and the best way I have found to do this is to, grab the edges. I usually grab the fur so I don't burn myself with the glue. And then you want to put that top part, let's see, I'm going to hold this bottom part up. I'm going to put that top part right there across that top where we cut the fur, and then mash that down. Okay, and then you can kind of roll it to integrate that fur really well. Okay. And then that top edge, you can kind of marry that fur together like this. Just pull it up, and all around the edges, just kind of pull it together, and it kind of makes it look like the fur came that way instead of it being a piece that's glued onto the other. All right, and then on top, what I did was I gave him a haircut on the top so his fur wasn't sticking up quite so high. So we're going to do the same thing over here. And y'all, what I like to do is just pull the fur up between my fingers so I don't cut it too short. And then just kind of cut it straight across. It's a little scary the first time you do it, but y'all, it's not bad. It's easy. You just kind of cut it. I want the fur to be just a little bit shorter than his ears. So that's kind of what I'm going for. And you can just, you know, cut it to your liking. If you don't want to cut it, you can leave it long. But this fur that I got at Joann's is quite long. And for the top of the head, I didn't want this fur to be longer than the ears. So that's kind of why I gave it a haircut. I wanted the ears to be seen behind the fur. So I'm just cutting, especially in front of the ears. And then as it goes back, I just gradually cut it a little bit longer, which will blend it into the longer fur on the little gnome. Okay. So I think that's looking good. Let me see, right here's a little bit longer. Okay. Let's get all this excess fur off of here so it doesn't get all over our little gnome. All right, then on the sides, kind of around the head, I'm going to trim that fur as well so it kind of meets over here to the front where we have the fur shorter in the front. Okay. So cute, y'all. And have fun with this part, y'all. It's fun to me it's like you're grooming an animal. It's fun. Just continue to trim the fur until you get it to the look that you like and the length that you like. Got some hot glue on my fingernail there. All right, cut that just a teeny bit shorter. But you get the idea. Okay, so now we have our little gnome looking like this with his little ears, and you can kind of fold this fur down, pull it up in the middle, but that's kind of the look we're going for. Okay, now we're going to take some black, some of this really short. When you're buying this fur, you want to get the really short faux fur. Okay, and we're just going to cut 2 rectangles with our X-Acto knife, and probably 1 centimeter in width and about 2 inches in length. Now you just want to pull any loose fur off. Anytime you cut fur, you want to make sure you pull the loose pieces off so they don't come off on your project. You know, the fur doesn't shed. That's the goal of doing that. You just pull the loose fur off. Okay, we got our 2 little black face pieces. Now what we're going to do next is we're going to go above. I'm going to pull this fur down for now. We're going to go above where we have this white just a little bit, and we're going to glue these black pieces kind of at an angle onto the raccoon's face. Okay, so that's what we're going to do next. We're going to pull all that fur down while we're gluing. And then we want to take our little fur pieces and lay them at an angle and glue them on one at a time. So let's go ahead and put some glue on the top. I'm gonna put my finger protector on because I know this is gonna burn me if I don't. We're gonna put it on the top part first, glue this kind of in sections because it's easier to do, y'all. And we want to leave about a finger width, a little wider than a finger width in the middle. So I just lay my finger down, kind of eyeball where I want it, and then put that down on top. Okay, we want it to go a little bit above the white as well, okay? And then just hold that down. He's so cute. All right, then you're gonna lift this up. And you wanna make sure you're covering up that white edge over here too, on the side, okay? So we're gonna lift that up. Put some more glue on this end of it. And then we're gonna pull it and lay it down. And that makes that little black marking on the side of his face, y'all. So cute, see? See how easy this is? Okay, now we're gonna take our next piece and do the same thing. And once you've glued it, you wanna take that white fur in the middle and just kind of pull it up and blend it in to the top part. Because what we're going to do now is glue our nose on, and we want some fur. We don't want to see that harsh white edge, so just pull some of that fur up. Okay. All right, and then what you want to do too, once this is dry, you want to come up underneath the longer fur. Just kind of separate that out, and you want to put some glue, pull this longer fur, kind of parting it like we did before, part that fur, put some glue right here on the back of the lower part, and then you want to fold that over and mash it down so the bottom part of these eye patches are secure to the longer fur. You just kind of spread that fur apart and then mash it down, okay? And that will hold the bottom of that eye patch securely to the base or the body of that gnome as well, okay? And then you can kind of just take the fur and pull it around it. So we wanted to, if not, it moves a little bit too much for my liking. So I just kind of come over here and pull the bottom part, separate the fur, squirt some glue up in there in that crease and up behind this, pull that fur down and then mash it down and hold it. Okay, and that's going to get that securely down to the base. Okay. What I did with the black beads that I'm using for the nose, I just took some duct tape and, you know, turned it like this and taped it down. And then I painted these black, these half wood beads. I took one of these, you know, stuck it down to the duct tape like that, and then just took some black chalk paint and painted them, let them dry. So that turned that half wood round rather, into a nice black gnome nose for these little dudes. Okay, so now we're going to take this, and you want to kind of glue it right along the edge where that white is. But again, you want to pull some of that fur up before you do. So take your little comb, part it a little bit, and stick just a little bit of that white fur going up. You don't need much. And then you want to separate, get all the way down to the backing. You want to kind of part that fur in the middle. And you want to put the glue on the back of your wood bead or half wood round. It's not really a bead because there's no hole in it like the beads. Put some glue on the back and then press it down right there in the center and hold that down for just a few seconds. Y'all, all we got to do now is put on the eyes and we're done. Look how cute, y'all. He's so cute. Okay, for the eyes, I bought these buttons. We're just going to take 2 of these buttons. And these buttons have a raised back on them with just one hole to sew the button on. We're going to snip that little bottom part off. And I just like to use my wire cutters for that. And they come right off, y'all. So we're just going to take it and snip that off. And be careful because that little piece will go flying. It just comes right off, okay? So we're going to do that on both sides. That way that little eye piece, the little button eye, will lay flush against the gnome fur. So we're going to get another one of these off. Just cut that backing off. And like I said, be careful because they will go flying, those little pieces. Just cut those off. Now we have 2 buttons that we can use. And all I do is just go down a little bit from the top and glue one on each side onto the black fur. So they kind of blend in, which I like. I like that look. Just kind of separate the fur. I put the glue itself onto the back of the button in the very center. And be careful, y'all, because it's easy to burn yourself because these buttons are teeny tiny. And then you're just going to turn it over and mash that down. Okay. And a little bit of glue seeped down. I'm just going to pull that hot glue off. There we go. Just get any excess hot glue that might have seeped out behind. You can just pull that off while it's still kind of wet. It's easier to pull off then than after it dries. But y'all, that's it. That's all there is to putting on those little eyes. See, isn't that cute? We're going to do the same thing with this one. And this time I'm just going to kind of look across and make sure I'm doing it level. Just pull down the fur where you want it to go and press it down. He's so cute. What do y'all think? I hope you guys give this a try. It's very easy to do, I promise y'all. Now, the only other thing I want to do is trim some of this fur off the bottom. You can see how on this one, I trimmed it some, so it's not so long. We do want some fur to kind of overlay on the table, but not as much as on here, because this fur is long. Now, if you get a shorter fur, you may not even need to do this step. But all I do, y'all, is just cut across the bottom. Just going to cut right around the bottom. See how I'm just cutting, giving him a trim all the way around. All right, guys. Just make sure there's no loose fur. And I'm going to take my hair dryer. Let's get all this out of the way. And I'm going to fluff up all his fur. The hair dryer really does help fluff it up. Plus, it helps get rid of any creases. Creases happen when the fabric stores fold the fur over, or when you store it and fold it, it gets those fold lines, which look like creases on fur. So all you have to do is take your hair dryer, See where there's a little bit of a crease right there? We're just going to take this hairdryer again and blow dry it. And y'all, he is so cute. I love the way these turn out. I really appreciate you watching this video. If you've watched it this far, please put a raccoon emoji, or let me know what you think about this little raccoon in the comments. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel and click the bell so you'll always be notified when I put out new videos. Thanks so much for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.